Hi everybody, this is Sayaji Dan, Saya Miles. This is our mobility assisted 5-point form, and as usual we're going to be going with the walker, which requires the most adaptation. Now, you'll notice we didn't do a stepping pattern for mobility assisted. That is because your stepping pattern is exactly the same as non-assisted. You just are going to have to modify stances a little bit, but the stepping pattern is exactly the same. So, without further ado, let's begin teaching the 5-point basic form from the Tang Byung Bian system. Okay? We begin by bowing in from our system. It's our system, it's our bow. This is not how Tang Byung Bian bows. This is our bow. We step out, and then he does a cross block. Okay? Now, pay close attention to that. He steps out into his H stance with his arms down after the bow. Then he shifts to a T stance, which we talked about. He's going to turn his toe out to a T stance, and his low arm is going to cross block. The low arm does the cross block in this form, not the high arm. There will be some moments where we go high-low if we have the balance to do so, and the low arm always does the block. The low arm always circles around. It's almost like imagine doing that hook block, but instead of hooking, you turn it into a cross block. Okay? So it's almost like a reverse sweep block. You're going to hear me say the word reverse a lot because Tang Byung Bian is reverse Bando. They do things slightly differently to get inside the guard and to get past the common typical ways of fighting in Myanmar. Okay? So they do things a little different. It's kind of like a tricky system that's power-based instead of finesse-based, which is why we like it so much here in America. All right. So Saya Miles is going to turn, he's going to bounce, he's going to turn as much as he can, he's going to shift, he's going to get into that T stance, he's going to turn his heel out a little bit more into a good T, and he's leaning up into his walker and he's crossing, and he's using balance right now. But let me show you the difference. Pull your hand up and don't use balance, and do a good turn. You see, when he sets up here and he turns, his body can turn more. He can really turn into that. His hips can turn more, okay? And then he's getting into a real good block, and he can put his hand out further because he can turn more, which is safer. So if you can let go, let go. If you can't let go and you got to grab, that's okay. But work towards that more rotational turning and getting that weight over that right leg. Now, we are not mirroring in this issue of teaching. Okay? So, when he goes to his right, we're going to the right. You have to go to your right. Okay? So when I say left foot, right foot, I mean yours. It'll look different to us. So, start again from your point, and then he's going to bow in, and he's going to actually move his left foot out into his stance, and then cross block left. Okay? Now he's in a good cross block left. Your opponent is out the 45-degree angle. He's not right here. He's over here. Okay? You're working the angles. So the first move you're going to do, this is set position. The first move you're going to do is outside block left. Okay? Now, this big turn exaggerating around is fine when you begin, but we were talking about this earlier. You don't have to go all the way over here because the bad guy's here, right? So you don't have to cross over to here, but you want to get used to turning your body as much as you can because you're torquing for the punch. Okay? So the reason we turn over here is count number 3, he's about to step forward. So you're going to step partially out of your walker here, probably. And so as you step out, you're probably going to need your balance. So you're turning the block into a grab as you punch. You're turning that block into a balance point as you punch. Okay? And that's point number 3. He stepped to circle number 3. He's punching out at the 45-degree angle. Let's go back and do that again so they can see why we do that big, long, exaggerated block. Okay? So, we bow in, we go to set. Boom. Okay? Block 1, outside block left. And we go down and grab, and then step, punch. And as you get comfortable with this and you get smoother with this, it's going to look like this. Right? It's going to look like, starting here, block, grab, punch, right? Straight from here, not out here in hammer fist, not here in punch, right from here. Okay? Punch from that chamber. Now, you see him move forward on the 45. He's using his balance if he has to. If you need to use it as balance, that's fine. If you don't, don't. Only use it for emergencies. The more balance you get, you're blue belt now. Hopefully your balance is improving. Let's try to do more with less. Okay? Good. Now that's count number 2. So what he's going to do now is if you can let go and you can balance, you're going to go to an X. You're going to pull your arms back and you're going to do this new kick out here. You're going to kick out. Okay? At that 45, and then you're going to step down, and this is another count. Okay? Now, how do we get this kick going in this walker without losing a lot of balance? You're going to use this edge of your walker. Okay? You're at your 45. You're going to go to your X, pull that foot back, keep your hips turned out to the 45, and kick outward. Boom. Okay? If you go deep into your walker, you can't do this kick. Okay? You can't do it. Simon, I'll step out. Let me show them what I mean. I'm trying to kick out at this 45-degree angle. Can't. Okay? I've stepped out and punched. If I can do an X block, I'm going to do it from here. Okay? Out here. If I can't do an X block and I need my balance, I'm going to do this. Low block, chamber, kick. But I'm outside for this turned-in kick. If your legs don't work this way and you can't rotate in, start practicing doing it to try to give yourself some range of motion and flexibility. But you can, in place of this kick, substitute a snapping front kick for a while. For a while. Simon, I'll stand there, you're the bad guy. Let me show them why. Okay? So as I come back and do this kick is designed to hit with the top of my leg, boom, here, or here. So you see a snapping front kick can do this. So at least the snapping front kick can get in there. This is supposed to sneak in better because his front leg's in the way. So this kick can hit here, or this kick can hit here, or around the leg. If you can't do that, you can at least do the snapping front kick first. Okay? But work on this new kick. It's one of the reasons we're learning this. So there I am, out here, kicking out here. Wow. Then I can step back into my walker and come back to the next technique. Okay? That's an adaptation we might need to do for our walker. We're going to have to get to the front of it. Okay? All right. Let's start again from the beginning. And we'll start from set, and I want you to follow along with us. Get into your nice H. Then turn to a T stance with your right foot facing out. So your right foot's going to face that way. And cross block left. Okay? Here's this cross block left. All right? Now, outside block left. Step, punch right. Now, show it with balance this time like you can't do the X. Just pull back so you can't do the X. Put it down here. And just do low block and kick. Okay? See how it's staying outside the walker? You can do it. Good. Now he steps back into his walker and cross block right. Okay? Now we've taken care of the bad guy over here. Lucky us, he's not a very good fighter. We win. Yay. Didn't take long. But now we have to deal with somebody on this 45-degree angle. What if we're working the other angle? This is going to be a more involved sequence. Okay? So now he's here. You're going to start with the same concept as before. You're going to do your outside block and turn it into a balance point. You're going to block and grab your walker. So you can go down and grab if you need to. But when he does that, he's going to need to block with this arm too. But go back because we're not quite ready for it yet. So we're going to be here and we're going to block. Right? Outside, and now we're going to grab and step and block. Okay? Now, here's the trick. We're about to shuffle in and shuffle out. And you got to take your walker with you. So you've got to grab your walker, shuffle in, back foot to front foot out, and do your block again. Reestablish defense. Alright? You're going to have to reestablish that defense. Then, you can back out. Bring your feet together. Move your walker back and step back again. Okay? And reestablish your defense as you go into a lekamon. So you cross block and grab your arm. Bring your arm up. Left arm, right armpit. Right arm up, cup your hand. Go into a crane if you can, a cat if you can't. If you can't do that balance point, you must use both arms up. So lean into your walker and do a cat if you have to. And then you're going to take your right hand and hit your left elbow. And when you do it, you're going to say these words. Tang, byung, bian. Do it again.
Tang, byung, bian.
Good. And I want that hand up, right? Tang, byung, byung, right? And I like it faster like Saya Miles does it. But make sure your arm is moving. Don't do this. Time, byung, byung. All right? Up high. Time, byung, byung. Okay? And you're going to yell it. Time, byung, byung. This is called the lekamon, and it is a declaration of pride and of spirit. It's like, just so you know, you're fighting a guy from Time Byung Byung. Don't mess with me. I got this. I got the skill set. And it's meant to intimidate your opponent. So you've pulled back and you've told them. Now, obviously, relax. Obviously, in a real fight, you don't get to do this, right? You don't have time to go, hey, man, time up, boom, boom, boom. He's beating you up. But in the form, this is akka, this is beauty, this is art, okay? And so we're shaping our will, we're shaping our spirit. And that's why we do this, okay? It's kind of a humble brag, you know? Time byung byung, I got this, right? So do it. And when you say time byung byung, I want it loud, okay? Now, let's start over from the beginning and get all the way back to time byung byung so we can walk through this again. And we start and set. Okay, are you guys set? Are you ready? Now, listen to me because you got to do the opposite direction as us. Outside block left. That's your left arm. Did you block left? Good. Step right, long punch right. Good. Low block right, inside kick right. T stance, cross block right. Outside block right, step, cross block left. Shuffle in, reestablish your block. Shuffle out, reestablish your block as you do the lekamon.
Time byung byung.
Step out and overhead block. Now, here's the trick. You're going to reestablish this overhead block. You have to step through to punch right. Saya Miles steps all the way outside of his walker. Some of my students that have been working with me for a while are starting to develop pretty good balance and stepping out. Now, here's the trick. See Saya Miles' body shape? Because he took a really big step with his overhead block, when he's really deep in his T stance, when he does a step, he can outpace his walker if he's not careful. We need to remember that we step a little more shallow than the traditional step. Go back, Saya Miles. Do the time byung byung and show him that good shallower step. Now, shallow step. And look at that. If he just steps just to the outside of the walker and does his overhead block, he now has control and balance as he grabs here, okay? So, and now he can stand upright and he can step out and punch, okay? And that's good. If you can't step out past your walker yet, balance-wise, it's okay. Do your time byung byung, overhead block, and then just stay here and shift your legs if you have to. You can stay in your stance and punch, or a little more advanced and a little more fun, do your overhead block right there. Just go overhead block. Now, switch your feet and punch. Okay? And generate a little power. You're up here, step back, step in and punch. Right? And so that's a little bit of a switch step. Step back and punch. So you still have control of your walker. That's the first half of the time byung byung 5-point form. We're going to go through it 2 times. One time I'm going to call out numbers. One time I'm going to call out techniques. I don't want you to follow along. I want you to watch. You're going to learn visually and auditorily right now. Just pay attention. All right, Saya Miles, please get set. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Time byung byung.
10, 11.
Chow.
Okay, now you heard him when he stepped out. He said, chow. That's what they say when they step through and do their final punch of the half of this form. They say, chow. Now when you say chow, and you practice this, and you will say chow, when you say chow, I want it so loud that Saya Miles and I here in Austin, Texas, wake up in the middle of the night while you're practicing in a different time zone, and we go, what was that? And he calls me up and he says, I think a student just said chow. That's how loud I want you to be, okay? Say chow. When you step through and do that punch, I want chow! All right? Power. Get used to saying that. It'll help you with all the other important things that come later too. It's not silliness. It develops breathing, it develops power, it develops speech, and it will also help you when it comes time to do things like assertive speaking. Get used to being loud. Get loud. Okay, now let's go through it one last time and I'll call out the technique. Okay? Set, outside block left, step long punch right. Inside kick low block right with the, yep, cross block right, outside block right, cross block left, shuffle in and reestablish the block, shuffle out and reestablish the block, and lekamon.
당병변
Overhead block, step long punch.
차
Good. And that is the first half of the Tanbyongbyan 5-point form. Practice that, and when you're really good, go on to the next video, which is our transition. Get to work.